Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Glimesh team meeting. This is the first meeting of April, and it's also 1 month since we launched our alpha 1 month ago on the 2nd of March. So thank you, everyone, for being here. It's been a rockin' month. I think it's been, I don't think any of us could have expected or could have predicted what was going to happen or how this could have gone, but I think it's been a great month so far. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. To think about a year ago where we were, I think we're all in a very different place than where we are today, and hopefully with Glimesh, we're starting to kind of build up that place we used to be, right? That kind of community we used to have. So thank you, everyone, for being here. As a reminder, if you are in our text chat over here on the right, or if you decide to speak during our team meeting, your voice and or text will be recorded and published to YouTube, as well as streamed live to Glimesh TV. If you don't consent to that, please don't use either of those mediums. As always, we're going to cover our wins, and then what we're going to cover next, we're going to cover our metrics and our wins, and then we're going to cover some phase 2 roadmap planning items. Now, we're not ready to announce the phase 2 of the roadmap. That's something we still have to discuss. That's something we're still getting feedback for. But we're going to talk about the plan and how we're going to get there and how we're going to refocus in on that phase 2. So without further ado, let's get started. First, we're going to cover our weekly metrics. So it was definitely a slow week. On Discord, we lost about 53 users. Twitter, we gained 25 new followers. Reddit, we gained about 4. Instagram didn't move an inch. And then Facebook, we gained about 6. On the users side, we gained about 639 new users. And our MRR, which is monthly recurring revenue, is down about $220. Let's cover the top ones first, the social metrics. I actually want to call out one thing that me and Christoph were talking about. Kind of seriously, but not seriously. Ever since, so our Discord numbers are going up very, very literally every single week, and then eventually it started hockey sticking, and we were getting 1,000 new Discord members a day, and that was during, of course, the launch period. But the one thing we didn't consider is I wonder if there's some connection between Discord users and the news about someone potentially buying Discord, because it seemed like just as those two pieces of information were announced, that's when we started dropping our Discord users. Whereas on Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, and Facebook, we're not dropping any, we're just not gaining very quickly. So I wonder if there's a lot of people moving away from Discord or just not finding their content that they normally find from Discord anymore. So I just wanted to say that. I don't know if that's true. I don't think we have any way of proving it. Unfortunately, we can't ask anyone who left Discord why they left Discord, because they've already left Discord. But we'll continue to keep an eye out. We could ask on Twitter. Yes, that's smart. From the MRR perspective, I'm not worried at all by that. I think our community is still very strong, and they're supporting us. And I think the MRR is a perfectly normal churn rate for subscription services. We're still right up around 22-24% on the churn, which we'll show in a minute, and that's perfectly normal. The only not so good part about this MRR number is that it does need to be going up a little bit. It just doesn't, going down is not necessarily a bad thing, but as we continue to grow, we want to make sure that MRR is growing as well, because that's how we can keep the site sustainable. So on the support ticket side, we had 40, is this correct? We had 46 new support tickets last week. I think that's correct.
That is correct.
Okay, so we had 46 new support tickets last week, and the week before that we had 28. So there has been an uptick in support tickets. I know some of them, I think it was about 5, maybe 6, were related to unsubscribe confusion, people who didn't know how to unsubscribe, and then they were charged again, so they wanted to figure that problem out. So we have given a couple of refunds. We're definitely, if you got charged for a subscription that you didn't really want, make sure you let us know. We can help. We have no problem giving refunds. We don't want you to spend money that you don't have. So just contact support@glimesh.tv. Yeah, let's keep moving. On the traffic side, I like we did last week. I liked including the previous week here. That way we can see the week-to-week difference. We are, again, still down on traffic, both from unique visitors perspective and total page views perspective. The events of last week did bring in some good traffic, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But we're still not seeing, the exact uptick that we want. But I'm not concerned too much with that. Normally, with marketing, it's not always an immediate, gratification. What our events are hoping to do is our events are kind of anchor points for us to be able to post media, be able to have people visit the site. So the events themselves are not going to bring a huge amount of traffic. They're going to bring just a normal, moderately sized stream worth of traffic. But we can continue to use that content to push out more on social media. So it's still very effective for us. On a Twitter perspective, of course, the numbers are dramatically down now. But I do want to make clear that this would be the first week where the 2nd of March wasn't in the 28-day summary, or wasn't in the 28-day period. So we're really seeing that downtick of launch day and of launch week. So I think these numbers are a little bit dramatic, but there they are. And then bandwidth is still looking great. We're still hitting really a good amount of streamers and viewers every night. You can see that there's a very standard pattern. This looks exactly like the graph from last week. It is varying a little bit, but it's nothing dramatic. I think there was a big lull on Easter, which was a couple of days ago, where we didn't have too many streamers. But then Monday and the Saturday before brought it right back. So I'm happy with that. All right, and then the next tab is financials. So like we said, the MRR is slightly down. Again, that if you can see right over here, the subscription churn rate is still exactly similar as it was last week. We're not getting any significant growth on churn. It's more just the people who subscribed for that first month of Glimesh. Some of them decided not to continue that on to the next month. And that's perfectly fine. That's always going to happen. You'll see that with your own channel subscriptions. People may subscribe for 1 month at a time. They might subscribe for the rest of their life. There's just different types of people out there. And then I think that's it for the main Stripe page there. Sorry, I'm trying to talk not as fast. I realized I was going pretty fast. I think we're done with the Stripe page over on the left, and then now on the right is some of the good news. So this is our first month, basically full budget. We do pay for additional services, like POE editor. We pay for some Shopify fees, etc. But those are mostly pretty small. We really want to cover the good chunk right here, right now. So on a final budget report out, the first month of traffic to Glimesh grossed us about $12,500. Of that, we paid out $2,795 to streamers. And then our total revenue on that was $8,761. And then, of course, the calculation in the middle is our server costs. We do 2 calculations on server costs. The first one is how much did this cost us with credits, with the credits included. And the second calculation is how much did this cost us if we pretend the credits didn't exist at all. And we do that because the DigitalOcean credits are temporary. Once we're out, we're out. So we have to make sure that we're still financially sustainable with or without credits. So we do that, and you can see the total amount at the bottom is $3,842 left over from the $8,000 if we didn't actually have the credits. And then since we did have the credits, we have $8,700 left over. So what that means basically is that right now, even for April, maybe even May, June, July, as long as we continue to have more revenue coming in than server expenses going out, we're going to continue to exist. And in these first couple of months, since we have DO credits, we're really kind of gathering that Glimesh war chest, and we're continuing to pool the money together in our bank account not spending any of it, not paying anyone, so we can continue to make sure that even if we do have a bad month, we're not just going away. We're going to keep existing. We're going to keep being here. We're going to be around for as long as we can. The one other thing I wanted to mention is that at the first of this month, actually on the last day of last month, I did a quick server audit. I went through all of our servers and made sure that they were all appropriately sized for the size that we are today. And that will cut our server costs down by about half, and hopefully our bandwidth costs down by about 1/4. But we'll continue to monitor that throughout the month.
Somebody had a question about financials, Clone.
Yeah.
Shadeslayer said, I know Glimesh is open and sharing the financials, but nothing's been pushed to the rather empty financials repo for a while. When are the figures going to be publicly available?
Oh yeah, we have to. Basically, the goal for the financials right now is we have to do our 2020 taxes, and that's priority number one. And that'll be basically virtually zero income and zero expenses. That was just the company existing. And then once we've done that, hopefully we can figure out the right process for updating that accounting repo. But until we have a process down, updating that is very manual. However, we do things like this, where we try and open up as much as the budget as possible. And then one of the other things we can do is provide snapshots into the bank statements or wherever we keep the money at to kind of get some of that information in there. Hope that helps.
They said thanks. With a smiley face.
Cool. All right, so next we're going to talk about events. How did our events do? What were the events? So we hosted 4 events last week. 3 of them were hosted by Glimesh, and one of them was hosted by one of our streamers, the Bricks. So the first 2 were hosted by Glimesh. You can see here the Glimesh University and Meet the GCT. Those respectively had about 59 peak viewers and 82 peak viewers, with a total visitor count is a little skewed. We use an analytics service, and it could be slightly higher than this or slightly lower than this. But we did about 215 visitors for the first event and 268 visitors for the second event. For our National Burrito Day celebration with the Bricks, we had about 22 peak viewers and 155 visitors stop by. And then on the Glimesh Roundtable, which was on Friday, we had about 70 viewers with 159 visitors popping in. So we've definitely gotten some good feedback about the events. We've definitely gotten some not so good feedback about the events. What we're going to do is we're going to continue to work on them, continue to push them out. We're going to also start doing community hosted events more frequently. One of the things that our event team is doing right now is putting together a form that will let you submit a community event that you're wanting to host, and then what we'll do is we'll see how Glimesh can help you promote that event or help grow that event. So it'll be you doing all the work, right? We're not going to help you do the work for you, but if you have an event, you have an idea, you have something concrete that you want to host, we'd love to help you promote it. We'd love to promote it ourselves. We'd love to get that out there because that really, that's what starts to build this community. That's what starts to help us give us content to publish and really get social media feeling alive. So we'll have that out pretty soon here. I think we're wrapping up a couple more things on it. I know that we actually we have some of the hosters of the event in here right now. Did any of you want to speak about how the events went? I know we have Paco and maybe Matori somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd be happy to speak on mine. Since Matori's already in here, since you had the first one, you go ahead, Matori.
All right, sure. So we already had 2 Glimesh University events, both on Mondays on the 29th and yesterday. And so the first one was really well received in my opinion, and was like really hype and exciting. And I was really excited about both of them, obviously. And I did my best, prepared all that I could prepare. And yeah, I was really excited to see the response and how people were in and they were engaged and trying to learn and figure out all the stuff and asking questions and overall being an awesome community to interact with. So yeah, and I think like that the first university is like really good, both as both for streamers and for viewers. It's gonna explain how Glimesh is different, and gonna guide you into it. So I think that's a pretty positive side of it too. Yeah, and please do look forward to the next one on the Monday. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Matori.
For the Meet the GCT, um, I was completely blown away by the reception, because it was not a very formal thing at all. It was really just whatever of the team was available, sitting around and talking a little bit and interacting with the chat and just kind of trying to get to know some of the community and give them an opportunity to get to know us. And I really honestly did not expect that many people to show up and have such a good time. It was so great getting to talk to people. And I'd really love to start doing more GCT focused events like that where we just kind of make ourselves available for people to stop by and talk to, maybe get some like GCT community gaming stuff going on at some point. I really, really enjoyed putting that on, and I really enjoyed the reception we got back too.
Yeah, one of the things that I really like to see in the future is whenever we're launching features, like subcategories, for example. I'd really love to see like an event where the GCT covers the feature, how to use it, and
That's a great
and the
idea.
community can try it out in real time and give feedback and ask questions. I think that would be a really good way to kind of push new feature information out there.
I like that. I'm writing that down on a post-it note.
Okay, don't lose it.
Sticky, man. I've got this.
All right, yeah. So those were the events. I think they were all a great success in my mind. We kept recordings of them as well. We were hoping to publish the recordings for I think all of them. But realistically, we actually want to take snippets and clips of different various pieces of all of the events, and then use those to kind of hope push out social media as well. All right. So next, let's talk about some new features, some new bugs and stuff that we fixed. So the first new feature that we launched is the ability to see all of your followed streams, even if they're offline, on your following page. So you can see that now. Go to the very top, click on following. It'll show you the live streams at the top, and then it'll show you all of your followed streams down below, and you can search to get them pretty quickly. We already had a feature request as well to add what time they last streamed. That way you know if they haven't streamed in a while, or if what their status is. And then I think in the future, one of the things we'd love to do with this page is make it so it actually shows the last stream they did, maybe even with a thumbnail from the stream. That way you know exactly what they were doing when they last streamed. It could be a good way to kind of tell you, hey, you missed out, you missed the stream, and then hopefully get you excited for their next stream. And then maybe in the future as well, we can, if we have some basic scheduling, we could even show, hey, Mytho isn't live right now, but they'll be live in 2 days. Something like that. What do they stream? A starting screen. We'll pick maybe a clip from the middle of it or something. Who knows? All right, the next feature is on your stream settings page. We now link directly to some guides for setting up OBS and Streamlabs OBS. This, in hindsight, of course, should have been there from day one. But now for any new streamers, any streamers who are looking to get started on Glimesh, right where you get your stream key is the same place it'll tell you how to stream. Hopefully it'll get people kind of an easier of a start. The next feature we added was kind of a safety thing. There was an issue where if someone was harassing you by creating accounts and then following you, you couldn't do anything about their message. You couldn't delete it or remove it because the following messages are special. And if they didn't talk and chat, there was no way to time them out, without some bot doing it or something. So we've added buttons to both the following messages and the subscription messages, basically all messages now, where you can ban or timeout users right from those messages. So if they're joining your chat, following and harassing you, you can immediately ban them. And then the next feature here is kind of more of a fix. We did add that stream is having networking issues alert, and really that's, even though it's obnoxious, it's intended to make sure you know what's going on. We want you to know more than anything in the world if a streamer is online or offline. Right? If they go offline, or if they're still live but the video stops playing and it looks like they're online, we don't want you to leave. Right? We want the streamer to fix it. We want their network to fix it, and then you still continue to watch their stream. And that's paramount for us because we were seeing viewership numbers drop off when you were having these issues with the stream loading. So we added a feature where it would show you an alert message that, hey, we're having issues with the stream loading. I think unfortunately those were a little bit more frequent than we expected, and currently we don't know what the threshold is for bad events versus good events. So we were showing the message all the time. So we've recently tweaked that. It now doesn't show a message. It just shows a yellow little signal icon if you're showing a certain threshold of bad events. And then in the future, hopefully we can continue to tweak that and make it better. We are still working on the core issue there, which is kind of packet loss. And then once that packet loss fix, well, it's not a fix, just to clarify. Once that packet loss smoothing is added, it should help a little bit more as well. All right. So next we're going to talk about Alpha Phase 2. Now, don't get your hopes up. What we're not doing tonight is we're not announcing what Phase 2 is or when it's coming out or what the progress is on it. We're not doing any of that. What we're talking about tonight is how do we know what Phase 2 is? How do we figure out what Phase 2 is? Because we defined a roadmap way back in the day, about 7 months ago, that decided what the Glimesh Alpha was. And we decided on Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3. Now, with product, when you're developing a product, it's always important to stay quick on your feet. You don't want to define a feature a year out, because by the time you get to that year, it may be completely different. And the same holds true for something like this, where when we decided that alpha roadmap, we weren't even launched yet. And so now that we are launched, we want to get another perspective, from people who are using the site every single day on what the most important features are. And we want another perspective from people who aren't using the site every day on what could help make them use the site. So now that we know that, we know that we want to make Phase 2 the best it can be. Now it's time for us to get to that Phase 2 plan. So we're basically going to take 4 steps. The first step is we're surveying users. This is happening right now. We're surveying users for several different reasons, either specifically or here in a couple of days we're going to have a global survey. And then we're going to plan. We're going to take the results of those surveys and we're going to see what features are top rated, features that people have to have, but also balance it out with time, time that we have to implement, and personnel, people we have on the team who are willing to volunteer their time to make it happen. If you're requesting some feature, that we just can't make, we don't have the technical skill or the knowledge to make, well then we won't be able to deliver it. And that's why it's kind of on us to actually decide what we're going to make. So we'll take the results of those surveys, all of that user feedback, we'll kind of boil it down to what Phase 2 is going to be for Alpha, and then we'll present it to the community as, here's the roadmap, here's what we're working on next, here's what you can get excited about. This will give you kind of a planning idea of, what we're going to have, and not when, but what we're going to have next. And then hopefully for any of our bot authors or API users, we can start to talk about what it looks like for them as well. And then we're going to execute on it, right? Execute it, make it and then rinse and repeat. Start this process over again for phase 3. Now, how do we plan the roadmap? So since we're such a collaborative group, since we're completely powered by the community, since we're made from what everyone puts into it, it's not, proper for us to just say, hey, this is how it's going to be and this is how it is. But on the other hand, it's really hard to get feedback from 10,000 people. It's really hard to get, even 10 people in a room to talk about what a feature is going to be and not spend 10 hours on it. So we have to use tools to kind of figure out exactly how we can collect all this information and how we can kind of distill it together. And we do this in a couple of ways. We get feedback, directly from people that we want to answer a question from. So in the first column here, this kind of covers direct surveys. This is where we want to talk to people or specific groups that we need to know more about. For example, one of the ones we're doing right now is any streamers who have streamed on Glimesh in the past, but not in the past 2 weeks. So if you streamed before and you stopped streaming on Glimesh, why? What was it? Was it a feature? Was it bugs? Was it problems? Was it payouts? What exactly inspired you to stop streaming on Glimesh? And that'll kind of help answer a question of that missing gap of streamers. The second one we want to do that's very direct is from viewers who interacted with the stream before, but have not done so in the past 1 to 2 weeks. Why aren't they logging into Glimesh? Why aren't they, watching streams? Why aren't they chatting? Is it because of technical difficulties? Is it because the site's confusing? Is it because there's no one to watch on the site? And hopefully these two groups will kind of give us a good perspective on what those features are. Now, that's not the entire answer. If we only hear from these two groups, we're ignoring all of our successful users as well. And so on the flip side, we really want to focus on the more general feedback from all of our users who are dedicated, all of our community who's here every single day streaming on the platform. We want to hear directly from you, how and what you believe is our top priority. That's why we have suggestions channels in the Discord, right? That's why we listen to every suggestion you make. That's why when you're talking in chat right now about XSplit, we hear it and we go back and figure out what we can do about it. One of the surveys we want to do this week is a Glimesh first month experience survey, which will be out to all of everyone. That'll be across Twitter, Discord, everywhere we can post it, and that'll be gathering feedback about how it was your first month. What did you do? What was successful? Would you recommend Glimesh? Was there any features that would have are there any features where you would entirely move your community here if we had it? That kind of stuff, right? That way we can figure this out. And then the third method of feedback, which we've also found very effective, is community-powered feedback. You asking your viewers, your streamers, your community, your Twitter following, hey, what do you think about Glimesh? If you mention Glimesh anywhere in your tweet, we see it. I can guarantee you that. We look at it, we read it, and we pay attention to it because that's where we get the real good feedback. When you're talking about, your friend behind their back, that's when you get the true feedback. Not that you're talking about us behind their back. It's just, we're not there asking you directly how it's going. I think all of these three feedback methodologies drive us to a really good place. So what we do after that is we collect all of this data together. We take the direct surveys, the general feedback, we take the community feedback, we take the Discord, we take everything that we've got, and we sit in a room together and we figure out what the heck we're doing. So kind of at the end of that process, we walk into a room looking at something like this, which is phase 2 needs all of these features. We need transcoding and a mobile app and clips and group streaming and custom emotes and web notifications and rating and social media login and all this kind of stuff. But we don't have all that, and maybe we're not well suited to do that right now. And maybe that doing all these things first before taking it to the next phase really kind of puts a slowdown on us. So what we want to do is we want to take this list of potential features and then as a team kind of distill it down into an actual actionable phase 2 roadmap. So that's what we're going to talk about next Tuesday. we're going to hopefully announce at least most of the Phase 2 roadmap. We're kind of pushing our timeline a little bit close right now, just so we can continue to push towards a goal. But next Tuesday night, we're hoping to show off the first revision of the Phase 2 roadmap. We'll also tweet it out, of course, and put it on Discord and put it in all of our social medias. So you won't miss it if you miss the meeting. Don't worry about that. That's just that'll be the first place we kind of show it off. And then, so the other meeting I want to share with you. So the roadmap presentation is next Tuesday, but we're also going to do a roadmap planning session that I really want to stream, or I really want to use this stage feature for. And I haven't really talked about this yet, so my apologies. But I think as we continue to push towards this open company philosophy, I want to continue to make sure that our meetings are open. Now, this roadmap planning session will be different than our normal meetings. Since we've done so much work collecting feedback in advance from the community, and since we want to make sure that we can collaborate effectively, we're going to make this roadmap planning session available to the public to listen to interact with each other in, but we're not going to interact with the community directly during the session. So you may be talking in chat, but we're not going to be reading it. We're going to be focusing on the activity that we're doing. And that activity is going to be distilling the feedback that you've already given us into a prioritized list. So hopefully that jives with you. It's not to ignore what you're having to say. It's just it can be really hard to collaborate with 10 people. It's even harder with 100 people. So we're going to get your feedback first, and then based on your feedback, we're going to kind of distill it and combine it with our skill set to formulate the Phase 2 roadmap. All right, that's what's happening with Phase 2. So we hope to work on Phase 2 planning for the rest of this week. We hope to get some more feedback. Be on the lookout for the survey. We're going to send that journal one out very soon. If you've received one of the others, please, if you'd like to, respond to it. As always, in Discord, if you want to continue to give your feedback and your suggestions, we do read every suggestion, every bug that comes in. But if there's something that's been on your mind and you want to mention it, please feel free to mention it in suggestions or bugs or wherever it fits. As always, if you need support or help, you can email our support team at support@glimesh.tv. They're here to help you with anything that you need help with. They're especially good at account-related issues or questions about the terms of service. If you're new to Glimesh and you're trying to figure out how everything works, we've got a support portal that will walk you through basically every feature on our website. And then if you want to talk with us, or if you want to post in real time, we have a Discord where you can post any kind of bugs, questions, or get streaming help. If you're having OBS issues or stuttering, generally we found that it's either two reasons. The first reason is your OBS settings are incorrect. The second is that your internet provider is having packet loss. But we can help walk you through both of those problems if you use our streaming help channel. And then if all else fails, tweet us, message us, DM us, whatever you have to do. The next slide is for all of you. I want to let you know that thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for streaming on Glimesh. I want to talk about a year ago. A year ago, I was just working for the man, building some products and doing things. And now I'm working directly with this community. Now I'm personally doing my dream job. And so I want to thank you, everyone, for that. And now I am the man. So it's a total 180 on that. But I want to thank you all for the support, not only our community, but especially our contributors, people who volunteer their time. I know that I personally have a flaw where I get a little clouded on direction. And I think in the past couple of team meetings, I've felt a little sad at the growth direction, but I've been really talking with the team a lot. I've been talking with Christoph a lot, and I think we've really come to a place where the growth is fine. Like, we exist. We're a streaming site. We we are literally available to stream on. And if you want to stream right now and you want to have an audience, start your stream, get people in there, and start talking. We're here. We're not going to go away. And the only thing we have to do from now on is continue to execute, continue to build, continue to stay true to our mission, and we'll be successful in no time. So I want to say thank you for being here. I want to say thank you for viewing, for streaming, for subscribing. Thank you for subscribing. That helps us focus on the product and not on making money. By paying for the servers, you're essentially like always remember this, right? Every time you subscribe to a user or to Glimesh itself, you are giving everyone on the platform another opportunity to continue to make this the best place it can be. If you tweet about us, if you post a great suggestion, if you help design the next feature, you continue to help this platform be the best place it can be. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here. Everyone is appreciated. Everyone is valued. No matter the feedback, no matter the work. Thank you. Good night and good luck.